there's something happening behind the scenes involving LeBron James, and it's way bigger than basketball. Because this didn't start with one comment. It started with a pattern of Stephen A. Smith repeatedly calling out Bronny James, questioning how he got into the league, and slowly turning a basketball debate into something personal. At first, LeBron stayed quiet. No reactions, no responses. But behind that silence, something was building. Because when it comes to his son, this is not just basketball anymore. And what happened next?
Last night I was in attendance at the Knicks-Lakers game, sitting courtside, where during a timeout, I believe it was in the third quarter, I was confronted by none other than LeBron James himself.
LeBron James confronted Stephen A. Smith face-to-face at a Lakers game. And the moment it happened, everyone in that building knew this was not about basketball anymore. Because what Stephen A. had been saying about Bronny was not just criticism, it was personal. And LeBron had been watching it build for a very long time. This is where it started. Stephen A. went public over and over saying Bronny is only in the NBA because of his father. Not once, not twice, repeatedly, until it stopped feeling like analysis and started feeling like something targeted. Because this was not about stats or performance. This was about a father watching someone go after his son on national television, week after week, without stopping. And here is what made it even harder to ignore. LeBron James has spent 22 years managing every word, every interview, every public moment with surgical precision. A man who does not react without thinking. Who calculates every move? So when he walked up to Stephen A. at that Lakers game, that was not an impulse. That was a decision. And decisions like that only get made when something has crossed a line that cannot be uncrossed. Right after that confrontation, everything surfaced at once. Old clips, new reactions, voices from every direction. And the more you looked at it, the clearer it became that LeBron was not reacting to one moment. He was reacting to a pattern building around Bronny for months. Because Stephen A. was not finished, he came back louder, revealing something even more intense. That after his Bronny comments, LeBron tried to hurt his career behind the scenes. That raised the stakes immediately. And the next clip was going to land harder than anyone expected.
I am pleading with LeBron James as a father. Stop this. Stop this. We all know that Bronny James is in the NBA because of his dad.
That was Stephen A. saying stop this out loud, pleading with LeBron as a father. And once you hear those words, you understand why LeBron did not let it go. This was no longer media versus player. This was a parent being told publicly that his son does not belong here, and LeBron felt every word. So when they finally crossed paths at that game, everything building inside came out in one moment. LeBron walked directly up to Stephen A. and confronted him right there. And what makes that confrontation significant is not what LeBron said. It is how Stephen A. described what he felt standing there.
Confronting me. That was a parent. That was a father.
A parent. That was a father. Stephen A. himself said it. And once you hear that, the entire situation reframes. This was never about minutes or efficiency or draft position. This was about how far the conversation around Bronny had gone and what LeBron was willing to do to pull it back. But instead of things cooling down, they got louder because Stephen A. came back and doubled down. And what he said next changed the entire dynamic of this story.
Dated when he went on Pat McAfee's show, because you went on the show that comes on after me to talk about me and to disrespect me.
Stephen A. went on the Pat McAfee show, made it clear he was not backing down from anything, not the criticism, not the confrontation, nothing. And that is when this stopped being a disagreement between a player and a reporter and became something much bigger. Both sides locked in publicly, every voice in the NBA world choosing a side. While all of this was escalating, there was a quieter moment happening that showed exactly what the pressure around Bronny looks like up close.
All ready? All right. You see the intensity, right? Just play carefree, though. Don't worry about mistakes. Just go out and play hard.
Just play carefree. LeBron sitting next to his son on the bench, calm voice. Simple words. But when you connect those words to everything building around Bronny, it stops feeling like coaching. It feels like a father preparing his son for a level of attention most players never carry. And the reality is that Bronny did not enter this league like a normal rookie. He entered as LeBron's son first, a player second. And that changes everything about how every moment around him gets processed, every shot, every miss, every night out. Nothing stays private when your name is Bronny James, and the people who wanted to make that point louder were already lining up.
His son is a professional basketball player playing a professional sport. He don't need his daddy to jump in and save him. You know what, LeBron? You need to sit your down. Stephen A. was doing his job. Nepotism is why your son is in the league. And that's what Stephen A. was pointing out. Stop being a hypocrite.
Ari Spears called LeBron a hypocrite, said you cannot control the narrative once you put your son in the spotlight. And that argument landed hard. Because there is a version of this where LeBron made this situation possible himself the moment Bronny entered the league. And other voices were about to pile on even harder.
We're talking sports, we're talking athletics, where you can't hide. You can't push somebody to the forefront of athletics and say, he's the guy.
Absolutely got high school players better than Bronny. Bronny was never the best high school player on his team. He was never the best college player on his team.
Jay Rule, Cam Brown, both saying the same thing. In sports, you cannot hide weaknesses, no matter who your father is. And once that argument entered the conversation, the pressure on Bronny became impossible to separate from the pressure on LeBron. But another side was forming, and the voice that shifted the tone came from someone who knows exactly what it means to compete at the highest level.
You go on there and you like, oh, that's weak. Like, weak? Like calling another man weak? Like, that's not basketball, which is actually what.
Draymond Green, calling out Stephen A. directly, saying this crossed from analysis into something personal. LeBron was right to say something, because there is a line between analyzing a player and targeting a father. And someone else was about to back that up even stronger.
About it, and I told him I was Brown. I walked up on him the same way.
Dwayne Wade said he would have walked up on Stephen A. the exact same way. And once Wade says that publicly, the conversation splits into two clear camps. One side sees LeBron controlling the narrative. The other sees him protecting his family, and that split matters. Because this is no longer about one confrontation. It is about a bigger question the NBA has been avoiding. When you bring your son into the league, where does your responsibility as a father end and your responsibility as a player begin? LeBron believes they are the same thing. Not everyone agrees. And that is when LeBron finally spoke directly. And what he said made everything stop.
But when you take it and you get personal with it, it's my job to not only protect my damn household, but
protect my household. That phrase changed everything. A father drawing a line publicly. And once that line is drawn, every next move gets bigger than it looks. But Stephen A. was not done. He came back one more time. And what he said revealed exactly how far both sides were willing to go.
I don't want enemies. I live a very good life. I like to make people laugh and smile and have a good time and all of that other stuff. But I also get paid to call it like I see it. And what I said at the time, I stand by what I said.
He gets paid to call it like he sees it. Stands by every word, not backing down one step. And then he added something that escalated the entire situation immediately.
Everywhere I go, ESPN knows. Local police, FBI, everything. He's just with me.
FBI, local police. Protected everywhere he goes. Stephen A. making it clear, not intimidated by anyone. And now both sides completely locked in. Which is exactly when the focus shifted away from both of them and landed on someone who has been protecting this family quietly the entire time, Savannah James. Because now people are speculating that if the coverage keeps crossing into personal territory, legal action could enter this story. Nothing confirmed. But the fact that conversation is happening shows how serious this has become, and there is one more voice that reframed everything from a completely different angle.
I just don't get why you keep highlighting he ain't it as much as you highlight that Jordan is it, when there's other people right there with him.
Marcellus Wiley pointing out that Stephen A. treats LeBron differently than every other legend. And once that idea lands, everything feels more complicated. Because now this is not just about Bronny. It is about how LeBron himself is viewed. And it brings everything full circle. When LeBron stepped up to Stephen A., it was not just a confrontation. It was a message. There is a line between basketball and family, and LeBron believes that line was crossed. Both sides believe they are right. The question is how far this goes from here. Did Stephen A. cross the line? Or did LeBron try to control a conversation that comes with being in the spotlight? Because if Bronny was not LeBron's son, none of this would exist at this level. The real question is not what we have already seen. It is what has not come out yet. Drop a comment right now. Whose side are you on?